My stocking stayed empty until Christmas Eve, then I discovered the truth. The first time I hung a Christmas stocking, I felt like a kid again. I grew up in a house where Christmas was always practical. My parents thought stockings were pointless, so there were never little surprises, candy, or tiny gifts. I used to watch movies where kids had overflowing stockings, and I secretly wished I could experience that too. So when my boyfriend suggested we do stockings in our shared house, my heart almost burst. We lived with 2 roommates, and even our dog had a stocking. It felt like the warm, festive family I never had. We hung them on the mantle in early December, and the rule was simple: fill them secretly with small gifts that showed you cared. I went all out immediately. I bought my boyfriend chocolate-covered espresso beans because he loved coffee. I found fancy socks for my roommate, who always complained about cold feet. I picked Japanese candy for the one obsessed with anime. I even got organic dog treats shaped like snowflakes. Every night, I would sneak downstairs and drop something into someone's stocking, feeling pure joy. The stockings started to puff up quickly. By mid-December, everyone's was getting full, with little gifts peeking out and wrappers crinkling. It looked magical, except mine. Mine stayed flat. At first, I told myself it was fine, that maybe they were waiting, that Christmas was still far away, but days passed, and the other stockings grew heavier while mine stayed empty. I started feeling something I didn't want to admit: hurt. I kept filling theirs anyway, telling myself I didn't expect anything back, but every time I walked by the mantle, my chest tightened. Maybe they didn't care about stockings as much as I did, or maybe they didn't care about me as much as I cared about them. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to seem needy or ruin the fun. I smiled at dinner, laughed at jokes, and pretended everything was fine, but at night I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, wondering why my childhood dream was turning into a new kind of heartbreak. By December 22nd, every stocking was overflowing, even the dog's. Mine looked untouched. I stood there one morning, staring at it, feeling ridiculous for caring so much, but I couldn't stop the ache. Then on December 23rd, I woke up early for water and heard voices whispering in the kitchen. They sounded stressed. I froze in the hallway and heard my boyfriend mention tracking numbers, Amazon delays, and then my name. I stepped closer. On the table were boxes, lots of them, all addressed to me. My boyfriend ran a hand through his hair and said, "If this doesn't arrive by tomorrow, her stocking is going to look empty, and she'll think we forgot." One roommate groaned, "Operation Stocking is falling apart." They all turned when they saw me. Silence filled the room. My boyfriend sighed and admitted they'd been planning a surprise for weeks. They had made a group chat called Operation Stocking because they knew I'd never had a real stocking growing up. They wanted mine to be the best one, but shipping delays had ruined the timing. I felt my throat tight. All that anxiety and self-doubt had been built on misunderstanding. They weren't ignoring me, they were panicking because they cared so much. Christmas Eve finally came, and that night they brought everything out. They stuffed my stocking until it bulged with gift cards, tiny perfumes, enamel pins, snacks I loved, and handwritten notes from each of them. It got so heavy, it literally ripped off the mantle and spilled across the floor. I laughed and cried at the same time as my boyfriend hugged me and whispered, "You deserve the Christmas you never got." And in that moment, I realized love doesn't always show up on time, but it shows up.